Greetings, programs. Kilpatrick here. This video is going to show you how to recode variables. We are going to use the Hispanic Trends database. So if you haven't downloaded that yet, then might be a good idea to do so. So remember when you opened up the GSS 93 dataset, it was a little difficult. You know, you had SPSS downloaded, but to open that GSS file, you had to do steps, I guess, in a certain way. So it's the same thing with Hispanic Trends or any of the databases. So if you're going to download this database, if you download it, it'll automatically be in your downloads folder. But if I were you, I would make a copy of that and put it in my desktop folder or on my desktop, however you want to think of it. And then when you open SPSS, well, let's just do it, shall we? Where's the class? There it is. So here we are, you know, recoding variables. Right before the assignment folder, I have the database. So if you click that, it should show up, hopefully, and look something like this. This is variable view. This is data view. Doesn't really matter which one you have open. But I want you to look over here first. See this variable header, right? Case ID. Remember what I talked about? Hopefully that the only identification you ever use for any respondent or person taking the survey is an ID number. There's no name here. There's no phone number, no email, no nothing. Excuse me, keeps confidentiality. So, not only the Hispanic Trends database, but I think you should download all the databases and put them in a desktop folder. Why not do it, you know, now if you haven't already done so? Okay, so we have the database open. And what is the first thing that we always do when we open SPSS? Go to Edit, Options, and change these two things in the upper left, alphabetical and display names. Lots of students click alphabetical, but they forget to click display names. Both are equally important. And then click OK twice. And then we can go back to the class and open the Recode instructions. That's just a Word file. So when you click it, you'll have to click something else to open it. And when it opens, it looks like this. You know, these are Kilpatrick's very own Recode instructions. You know, people have paid millions of dollars to obtain these instructions. Not really, but they're very direct. When you are going to recode, the most important thing is after you have finished a problem, you must pull up the Recode window and click Reset before you go on to the next problem, and I'll show you that. First, when you're recoding, it's a good idea to look at the original variable that you're going to recode and look at the value labels. You know, find original variable values and what their numeric values are. Then you can go into SPSS and go to transform recode into different variables. Always recode into different variables. The window pops up, you find your original variable and move it into the middle window. And then on the right-hand side, two cells, they open. And you're going to click the new variable name and the new variable label into those two cells, and then, God almighty, don't forget to click change. And then after that is probably the most difficult part. There's a big giant button called old and new values. You're going to click that, and it's in here where you're going to make your value changes. The only thing you can put in this window are numbers. And you'll see that in a second. After you're done with this, click continue, click OK, and poof, everything disappears. But don't worry, you did it. Now you have to go back to the database and make sure you click on the tab that says Variable View in the lower left corner. Scroll down to the bottom of the list of variables, and there you will see your recoded variable at the very bottom. And then you just have to create value labels and assign missing values. It's very important that you create all the value labels, not just the ones for the valid answers, but you also have to create labels for the missing values, like 8 and 9 and DK and NA. Okay, so let us go back to the class, and here is the assignment using the Hispanic Trends database. And I'm going to do this one with you, and then you're going to do 3 on your own. What you are going to turn in is a Word or a PDF document with the recoded frequency tables for these 3 problems. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So the first one says Recode EDUC, which is education, into EDUC1. You know, this is the new variable name, and this is the new variable label. If you're going to recode, you know, take the original variable name and just add, you know, 1 digit after it, like 1 or A or B or whatever. It makes it real easy to find when you're done. So let's go to the database. And what did I say? The first thing to do is to look at the original variable values. So here's your best buddy. You know, you're going to use this all the time. The button with the red, green, and blue bars. And this brings up a variable list. And all you have to do is find, you know, EDUC. And this is what I'm after you, you know, this is what I want you to look at. Okay? You know, the value of 1 is less than high school. The value of 4 is some college. The value of 7, now 6 is a 4-year degree, you know, and on and on. Starts very low, ends very high. And then, you know, look, don't know and refused are 98 and 99. You know, why don't they have no answer in here? I'm going to make a guess that there are no answers in the original variable. So remember, they're using 98 and 99 because 8 is already taken for a valid answer. So we cannot use that. Okay, so what does the problem say to do here? You know, we're making this new variable, and then the values of 1 through 4 in the original variable are equal to 1, and that's equal to no. The values of 5 through 8 is equal to 2, and that's equal to yes. You know, all we're doing is changing this variable from, you know, 8 answers to 2 answers, and we're We're making it, you know, whether or not the respondent has a college degree. Okay? And this, you know, as you just saw, should be refused. Okay, so let's do this thing. So we checked the original variable, so now we're going to go to transform and recode into different variables. Look, right next to it, recode into same variables. Don't do that. Recode into different variables. So you have to find the variable that you're going to recode, move it over, just like the instructions say. And when you move it over, these two cells highlight. So we're going to call it educ1. That's the name. And the label has, let's see, what should we, well, let's do it right, shall we? The label has, respondent has college degree recoded. So, hey, I was on my way. There it is, hopefully not misspelled. And the last thing you're going to do here, and boy, don't forget this, you have to click the change button. And then we're going to click old and new values, and this different window pops up. And according to the instructions, we have just two changes to make. 1 through 4 becomes 1, 5 through 8 becomes 2. So we can't do that here. We have to click here in the first range button. So 1 through 4, and then over here in the upper right, you put 1. So in the old variable, the answers 1 through 4 become one answer, which has a numeric value of 1, and that goes on the new value side, and then you have to add it. And then you just do the second one, 5 through 8 equals 2, and then you add that. The last thing you have to do every time you work in the old and new values screen is click all other values and copy old values. And you have to add that too. So when you are finished recoding all of the valid answers, you know, all these different segments of education, that's when you go in and you do all other values, copy old values, and click add. You have to do this last step for every recode. Okay, so we're done here. We're going to click continue and click OK. Boom! And we get nothing. So, wow, where did it go? Remember, every time you execute any command in SPSS, it's going to show up in this output window. Look at way up here in the upper left. Okay, all we have to do is just minimize that. And the next step is we're going to go enter some values. And in order to do that, way down here in the lower left, we have to click variable view. And then scroll to the bottom of that list, and wow, there it is. There's our brand new recoded variable. And what we need to do is we need to put value labels in here and put missing values here. Remember, you have to make value labels for all of the labels. Okay, not just the valid answers, but also the missing values. So let's see what we said they were. 1 equals no, 2 equals yes, and then we'll put the missing stuff in there too. So look, it has a value. That's always a number. So 1, and the label is no. with a capital N, please. Thank you very much. 2 is yes with a capital Y. And then we have to make these labels. 98 equals DK for don't know. And 99 in this case means refused. So now we have all of those done. We click OK. And then over here in the missing cell, you have to open that up and click click the second button, discrete missing values. And then in the first cell, you're going to put 98. In the second cell, you're going to put 99. And then click OK. You're always going to use this middle button, discrete missing values. Okay? And now you can run a frequency table. And we all know how to do that from our first assignment. So analyze descriptive statistics and frequencies. And what do we have to find here? We're looking for EDUC1. So if we find EDUC, guess what? It's right next to it. That's why I want you to create variable names that really is the name of the original variable with just a 1 after it. Make sure after you go through all the struggle of recoding that you don't, run a frequency on the original variable and send me that table, right? Always, run a frequency on the recoded table, and by golly, there it is. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So instead of, 8 answers, let me show you. Here's the original variable with all 8 answers. What a mess. And here's a nice, clean, collapsed, recoded variable. Okay? Yeah, and that's how you do it. And don't forget that if you're ready to go to the next problem, you must go to transform and recode into different variables and click reset before you start. Gets rid of everything in here and puts the variable list back the way it should be. Okay? So your next one, you're going to recode QN17 to QN17A, and it's all about this. Are Trump's policies helpful or harmful to Hispanics and Latinos? Okay? Same thing. You're taking 4 answers, you're changing them into 2 answers. Okay, this one is a little tricky because let me just do something here. Let me go back here. Oh no, let me go back here. If you have a 1-to-1 change like you do here, you're just saying 1-to-1, 1 equals 1, then in the data set or the old and new values window, you're going to use this. This is 1 cell for 1 number, and then over on the right, the new value is going to be 1. Okay? And then you can go back down to the range and do the second change. Okay, that's about it for me. So have a great week. Man, let's see, by this time we're already a month into the semester at least. So that makes Kilpatrick happy. I hope it makes you happy. So I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye then.